So, it's okay. So, one possibility is that because, we are not going to go anywhere in completing this text, and there's so much more left. But we have good translations, and not only translations, but commentaries. It's a very nice commentary. I'm taking that on. So I feel that maybe the best is I give you a transmission of this text, so that you receive the transmission, permission, and blessing of the text. So then you go and read and study by yourself. You want that? Or not?
Yes.
I think that will be useful. Because, from Buddhist, from Tibetan's point of view, this is a very, this is regarded as a very, not only important, but kind of powerful sutra. And it is thought that when people recited these, or people listened, that it is recited, it will also not only kind of bring, kind of sow a seed of transmission, blessing, or transformation in ourselves, but it can become also a good protection. This Prajnaparamita Sutras, it is regarded that is very good sutras to ward off obstacles and kind of different kind of maras and problems from our lives. So we used to, the families used to bring lamas to their home if they have some problems or obstacles or illnesses or any kind of things, and they ask them to recite them. So at least they will be listening to the recitation once.
Comme le texte est encore long et nous n'allons pas parvenir à le finir, je pense qu'une possibilité serait, en plus, non seulement il est long, on ne va pas pouvoir le finir, mais nous avons aussi de bonnes traductions et des commentaires forts, de très bons commentaires aussi, dont le commentaire de Thich Nhat Hanh. Et donc je pense que la meilleure chose serait que je vous donne le loom, c'est-à-dire la transmission par la lecture de ce texte. Vous avez ainsi la permission et la bénédiction pour étudier ce texte par vous-même. Du point de vue du bouddhisme tibétain, on considère que c'est un texte qui non seulement est fort important, mais qui est aussi, c'est un sutra qui est très puissant. Quand on le récite, on dit qu'il apporte non seulement la source, la graine de la transformation en nous, mais c'est également une protection puissante. les sutras de la Prajnaparamita sont considérés comme bons pour écarter de nous les obstacles et toutes sortes de maras, de problèmes dans nos vies de tous les jours. Au Tibet, les gens font venir des lamas chez eux lorsqu'ils rencontrent différentes sortes de problèmes pour qu'ils puissent lire les sutras de la Prajnaparamita. Comme ça, au moins, ils les auront entendus.
And then after, if I finish this in short time, then, we can do some question answer kind of things like that.
Quand on va terminer, nous pourrons faire une session de questions-réponses.
So, what you can do?
제가 말하는 되게 소소한 되는 마음이 들어요. 내가 다 담이 취해. 너무 이제 보내자마자 이제 통화하는데도 내가 도대체 반다마요. 근데 이제 막 다시 지선하게 이제 같아 취해. 내가 그래도 마음이 내가 담아도 담이 취하다. 나만의 집안이 생태의 공원하고 또 내가 도대체 이 반다라요. 또 반대 집안이 지선하게 맞지? 이거는 좀 너무 취해. Ajatamala Tabachuara Namajivan, Shoji Samba Zamajivan, Sarada, Hedoda, Chirada, Radio Shoji Samajamajivan, Swangi, Tila, Ajama, Tila, Tamajama, Sanjo, Swangi, Tonta, Sonji, Delta, Chebi, Shoji Samajamajivan, Yomo, Onda Delta, Dodi, Sente Pati, Tamania Pajama, Talan, taking it, 여러분들 되게 요즘에도 세계 대단한 전체는 방법을 지원하는 대지실에 나라는 저저저 여러 나라들도 이제는 이제 세계다 이만의 수단 이만의 공간상황이 이제 시험을 저저 휴선되기로 준비하면서 이제 대단한 대지도 이제 매만 이번 문제를 대지하는 저 같은 신체에서 제가 휴선되기는 대단 대인은 대단하기도 Nobody said that the Sundamana was other than the General Condition, but they are the Lakota and just or other to budget the and what I use in the chicken, over the one with the human fire. They were not telling that they not as the interpretation the German was German. That years of the generation, and they say the Paranagan. Quando eu tenho certo, que dia que você conta na minha talvez eu tenha outro som de visita com eu também, que dia que eu com também, que ele se já não demora de que ele tinha sobre também de sobre do que não estava dando assim. Olha na minha eu não vou ver eu não vou som de visita com a mancha só de com tem que com mas Jesus te ele com Sonji Bao, Teba, Tekonda, Mazonda, Siju, Chuma, Machi Bao, Labado, General, Bobby Gonzan, Maji, the General, the City, Japan, the Bahua, Yeton, the Bojana, Jera, the Rejepo, the Jepomote, the Son of Jepomora. All the Shetan and Judges of Watching the Monas of the Japan. Yet soon of the Pombo, the Son of the Pombo, the Pombo, and Chip is the Son of the Pombo, Son of the Pombo, yes. And then the Jacket of the Japan, on the Total, the Conservative, not the Gerada Pombo, on the children of the and the was only a Gedala. JJ of the Vada, JJ, the Pombo, Monaco. All the women budget the Digi can manage the Yavan of the so the very short, there is only done the name of the reservation of the and I was like, so that's what you can hear on the Sunday tutor number, but the so we said that on Sunday tutor, I hear shower and on the same gender, it is the allow you, but yes, I was with all my good, and I joined the regular gauge of the give a day, then and the dog gauge, and you do the one in the same and not to the mother of the mental change on this and she should have won the job, the dog and she should. Only they were the one in the sense of the end of my loss of the only teacher only treated for my teacher or age or and to the jail the same short more the job the dog is more so I can then it end of my loss of the and more yet the keep it to the one of my jib and then they got around the dirt on the second one. 내가 나한테 저번에 또 번에 제가 저서 왔는데 제가 말았을 때 공원다 좀 기체로 이렇게 공원만 집에 됐는데 전에 제가 저번에 나도 좀 또 내가 저번에 또 번에 무슨 것을 했는데 나도 좀 제가 수분 좀 많아 보자 좀 맞아요. 너네들 이제 말하는 것들 소리는 영문이 반대 받아서 저들 전에 나와 배워서 또 나와 다시 말하는 전에 너는 나한테 좀 하면 무슨 소 내가 너는 내가 좀 하면 또 반이 되게 되게 와다 되게 완전히 요한문만 요한이 좋은데잖아요. 요한문만 반대 반대 같이 너무 먼저 전에 이렇게 가서 와서 너 이제는 세대 얘기는 이렇게 라자 마요도로서 비송지 만내는 공을 미치는 공을 유역감만 주지에서 같은 데는 말하는데 이게 라자 마요도로서 만내는 공을 미치는 공 만지서 되는 지가도 말하죠. 현재에서 공을 얘기하는데 나 공다 기계 방은 먼저 해서 되는 그냥 뭐 기술이 얘나도 이렇게 학교 바이 그 방에 해서 그것도 내가 이렇게 소리 이거는 이사와는 되는 중에서 sembatimbo 들면에 컨센트미 이사와테 저만에 파센트가 저주나 하는 센스 저도 로도리 잡고 주나요 무슨 센스 저나요 일단 대변은 시위지 그것도 이제 저버다 근데 전화가 이렇게 제와는 그때는 제와가서도 제와가서 되잖아 되게 요거만 집어서 냈는데 루시 저한테 요거만 집어서 이제서 됐잖아 루시 요거만 장난에 제가 말하자 저녁에 공개하고 계시면 제가 공개하고 제가 코너를 저한테 계시면 공개하는데 뭐야 나라지 저한테 고 공개하고 되는 게 너무 왔다 갔다 해서 다음에 저도 전에 제가 말하는 주의 왜 봐서는 그것도 저번처럼 공개하고 대답이 심한 전에 봤더니 이제 가만히 봐 봐봐 로봇한테 저라도 고마시 되더니 이만하면 정말서 ram주는 제녀도 세제 봐 밤에 대게 대는 순간 못 되잖아 그래서 내가 뭐라서 이제 이만하다 싶어 밤에 대게 되는 순간 못 저는 이제 가서 ram주를 공개를 이제 가면 되니 뭐 나도 저라도 고마시 되지 우리 수진나는 정말 저하고 공부 주의지도 다가 이제 지금 다 좋아하는데 용도 말하는 때 이게 되는 거 사실 뭐 그러면 받아가 가지고 요는 저서 공부 주의지는 너무 일단 지게 지금 내가 사주 대가 공부가 또 많이 되는决定的저는身体去就能的那么这么多我更是最近的要就在工厂还懂得不能这么大节目三小点了这么永远的那边的也当中的说这个这个做的战略的了这种玩意都可以结束了战略的就这当中的没这么的这都是我觉得有啥战略的这种那个就说到了就就当中的现在就把这个什么也从的这的得了什么这也是一件啊就这些的这是把它consumatori para de sempre vicino che nascerà di para de giusti ragione da genere sempre di che va oggi poi io tamara di sono tenere e che ne che con ci de con ma ci sono tenere che ragione da genere sempre tutto di ogni modo di con sei del cala di ne te mo ni no cada di sei deve te mo deve che mo di che de che la de che de mo del ma ci va di 소리를 때에는 세대를 얘기하고 얘기하고 사람이 받아서 얘기하고 소리를 얘기하고 해서 그러는 그래서 제년도 생시를 좀 생시를 되다가 얘기하고 그래서 당시 다만 조지에서 하는 데는 아무래도 시행을 이걸 좀 생산적으로 얘기하고 그래서 생각하는 거는 얘가 되게는 지금 생산을 되게 시도하고 저는 그래서 한절시 봐 공부하고 어서도 왜고 이렇게 논문들에 같이 이것도 예도라요 때는 되게 수능 팀은 저에 받는 것이도 되게 아주 취재 처마서 되게 재마시는 건데 되게 저도 주의지는 논문에 이게 배우는 때는 여기 보고 어떻게 좀 내려도 예시 c'est dans les études, on a ma vie sur le cas des études qui parlent de la yonde, quand on a la yonde, des filles, et qui est dans le monde de la majorité de la guerre de l'idée, on a des filles, on a pas des filles matiques, on a des filles, on a des filles, des filles, quand les deux, tu es dans le tout le monde, dans la maman, des gens qui les métiers, les métiers, de la c'est tu me donnes moi, moi, quand tu me dis Rado de Majalon, des Saint-Pierre de Victor of the and then the Victor of the Victor of the Victor of the Lion, the Him, and you did what they see, and then the Yetan, the get so. So the Manager, the girls are doing the do here Panda, the Tom, more injury sentence, the other the take. I wrote the Jamatan, the take on the take but this one gave the other woman source. In the conversation of the occasion, I wrote the Shaman poem, I wrote the Shaman method, and I get a bring in Central region also based on the Hijon and the Hijon of buying Bishop, the channel and look at it. Is essentially not the Hijon John, and that's the end of the day. The issue is the Hijon generation of engineering, but he did Sarah, Atena, you have a lot of the ship, so second the hero. So do they give other one of the ship of Majo, and go to the Natam chair, the Papadana, the Mayano, to such a same as myself, maybe the same Cello, my neighbor, you may follow my neighbor, cello, home, my neighbor, it's each generation and never cannot. Many patients that they take in a year. The companies are jealous of him, and they are much of myself. Your around you just in the second time, and just somebody don't want to say it. They were going about the new the JTA also about the now you want to go about the Rosava take and the Rosava take and the other one, the end of the solution. The Egypt come but as a song about the Demayo made the make him very unique, you don't know what they no we borrow to me, just about the woman. And along the you number not to know what they get the corner of the Mayo Soutra. Your injury, your own, I can't know the same on the taking your chair. This is the last of the Sunan Japan, which is the one you see the I do you say the congregation. You also the tone I say, the Under the government is out on you also the tone you Bona Tenegia, the tone you can see them about the number of the law of the country, to Yellow, other than what I can be over the children of the some GM such some of the airport, you know, Tepa, Chulan, the young Joe St. John of the table position for the young so there, what you know, about the law of the country, the India budget they don't look at the Indian disease, but you mother wasn't so much about the young member of the mother. Everything is on the trouble upon the upper budget of the member. We want to choose another the young man with the heart, the tower of the Maya, sending the tower of the Maya. Near bottom of the one of the country. She ever needed to be sure you want to say then we had the lado of Hawaiian, he needed to cheer over Joe, such over the core rights of our room and justice, such what they cheered of Joe and Joe. on the W do the seed of the name of the mother. Good ship on the now and the now Jeru, the teaching the gave it, yes, on the on the ship on the sand, the Jeru, the Sarah, may give it the Elosh on the so by the I mean, you're para hit and David, need to cover from it, cheer to all the man. So Jim, I made the parody, cheer, banana, something to say, or to not the motor that you just a yellow show, and ye percent, ye percent, two, my show was it. But you also did them the little ye percent, two, so I'm a zip of oil. See me doing a jet of much not to did the bottom of the over. I can check a ship of Yamador and Joton and the Popo de la Shell of the Ye, I over some which I love that of which I don't know, chat of draw the pit. That was Jerry on the Brazil and you got the tea, every day for the Jebo. That's in the J. Pompatinera, the Brazil, Paul, the Popo de la Shell of the Pompatia, and said, you know, General Chamber, you are the General Sunday, but they are not Sunday, but it was over the Young day, that's the man, the George is a bit of a motor, but you were there, the trouble, just said the so just and be just and be and just and be dog is sitting down to Pombo and inside your young dog. Senti come io sono anche dopo vedo the majority just about the give that la sembra che metterla the chiede di una della come che siamo già visto e che la radio posso dire sempre che va perché c'è c'è ne dice era già detto se che vede ma ne deve con la mia mano dove sono già guardo la sua che come mio e che di casa ne c'è della zona del mare che so che mamma all other mebano dove sono già guardo che come ma che so che so da c'è non è male già che so casa da che ma ne deve con la mebano dove sono già guardo so che come me to ma che ho guardo che I did it about the Yaki, my medicine, I can't say it's more better than the There is a defected of a hidden get a kilo with the beginner that they can eat before and version. And with the Basoji, which is a woman, the Asian that the Yaman, the medicine, I was the Mama better than the Yaman, the defected of a Yoshi long time or the Shabak and I Yes, I want to know that you say, Lava young bitch, or the phone, I see. The Yamata was low Baramawa, you know, she's the best I could take in a chemical. There is a mother of the day, she upon the vision of the she go, but the Damba means the bio mate, what they will say. You come here, so she's what they do. I went to the Tom J. The Tom J. and the TV, not two Tom J. Roger, the you came word of a young hotel on them, or really so, and then taking it. Maybe don't take you to be. Cause on what they take here. Learn a cheap person that you know, learn on the get your work, and then they take an order to take in the Contact the dog, you send them on also, and then now he said not this. I say, but I did a majority teacher and others. Also, just about you to take it on your head and 100 years so I can get it. I taking it to you, and did the same thing possible for them. Behind the December, we get the dog. He ain't good on the door. He is a nothing you take the teachers and we can have one of you. He's on the doctor, but he gave him a TV and I think one of his own. We get you on the door, the bishop. Not you on the jail, go on the road, came about anything about it. You just like you do, and with the general certificate. She is sending one of the Jews of the lot, he gave on the head. The children said that the Egypt about later now, and you so lot of the Banjolo Kadushan, the Oluji, Yamalade, Sabazu, Sedo de Mara, Juruji, Doggy, Tana, Tara, Temple, Jamde,
Okay, that's it.
Actually, it is also in this, in the Sutra itself, it says that it is to read it, or to listen to it, or to hold the text, or to, you know, to make kind of to recite it, or to even memorize even one stanza, is kind of so much positive energy. It is immeasurable. So this is, I think, it's where it comes from. But before I ask for your questions, I would like to tell a joke.
Let's have some drink.
Because, you know, it's not just this one. You know, any Prakaparamita Sutras is said to be, as I said, you know, important to read and, you know, to make the recitation. So many times, you know, when the monks go from like pilgrimage or something like that, you know, from the one part of Tibet to like Lhasa or Mount Kailash or things like that. So if you see this is a monk, then they will ask, the people will ask them to come and recite some sutras, especially Prakaparamita Sutras. And so they do it, and then they get some food and things like that, and they go on. But there are also some who are not monks, who doesn't know how to read, but pretend. Because some of these, you know, like people, you know, are illiterate and they can't read themselves. So they look for somebody who seems to be illiterate, and then they go there and say that I can read the sutra for you, and then they can bring in and let them read, and then they make offerings. So there's one time, one man came and he said, I read sutras, I read very fast, I'm very good reader. So the lady, you know, there was a lady, there was no man, and so he thought she would not know how to read. So she invited him and then let him read the sutras, Prakaparamita Sutras. So as you know, the Prakaparamita Sutras, there are lots of questions by Ranjor. The Ranjor is Subhuti, in Tibetan translates Ranjor. But Ranjor is, you know, when you say Ra, sometimes in Tibetan, Ra means goat. So Ra, Luk means like sheep. So Ranjor is one who has the, can also mean one who received God. That's another story. It's wrong. So he used to, you know, he used to pretend to read. He said, Ranjor. So after a few days, she suspected maybe he's not reading the right way. And then she said to herself, you know, a little bit loudly so that he would hear. You know, the other lamas, when they came, in the sutra, there was also some lunjors. But this lama is never mentioning lunjor, only ranjor. I don't know what he's reading. Maybe he's not reading correctly. We heard this. So then he thought, oh, I should say some lunjor also. But there's nothing called lunjor in this sutra. So next time he said, lunjor. So she found him false, and then she kicked him out.
Le sutra lui-même, dans le texte même du sutra, il est dit que c'est important de réciter le texte, de mémoriser même une seule phrase. Cela transmet une énergie immense. C'est porteur d'une très forte énergie. Et ce n'est pas seulement ce texte-ci, ce sont tous les sutras de la Prajnaparamita qu'il est important de lire. Et il y a au Tibet, il y avait beaucoup de moines qui allaient de village en village, qui étaient en pèlerinage. Et quand ils arrivaient quelque part, les gens de l'endroit les invitaient souvent à venir chez eux pour réciter les sutras, et particulièrement les sutras de la Prajnaparamita. Et à ce moment-là, on leur offrait un repas, on leur faisait des offrandes. Et donc il y avait aussi certaines personnes qui n'étaient pas de vrais moines, mais qui voulaient profiter des repas et des offrandes, et qui donc se faisaient passer pour des moines. Ce n'était pas trop compliqué parce que beaucoup de gens au Tibet étaient illettrés. Et un jour ainsi, un de ces faux moines est arrivé quelque part. Et il a prétendu qu'il savait lire très bien, très rapidement les sutras. Et une dame qui l'a invité, elle était seule, et elle l'a invité à venir lire les sutras de la Prajnaparamita chez elle. Et dans les sutras de la Prajnaparamita, comme on l'a dit précédemment, on trouve souvent Subhuti qui pose des questions. Et en tibétain, c'est Rabjur. Et donc, ce faux moine le savait, donc il ponctuait sa lecture, sa soi-disant lecture de Rabjur. Mais souvent, la dame a fini par avoir certains doutes, à se demander est-ce que c'est vraiment. Il est quand même bizarre, est-ce que c'est vraiment un moine, est-ce qu'il lit vraiment le sutra? Et elle lui a fait remarquer à ce moment-là, vous savez, les autres moines, quand ils viennent réciter, ils mentionnent aussi un certain lunjo. Il n'y en a pas dans ce sutra-ci. En fait, c'était pour essayer de le piéger. Il n'y a pas de lunjo dans les sutras de la Prajnaparamita. Mais le faux moine n'en savait rien. Et donc, le jour suivant, à la suite, quand il a continué à lire, il a à ce moment-là ponctué sa lecture de l'Unjo, ce qui fait que la dame a su à ce moment-là, avec certitude, que c'était un faux moine.
So, any questions here?
So, Rinpoche, is there a method that you would suggest to study this sutra or other materials so that it does not remain for us superficial and just intellectual? That and also how can we check our understanding? Because yesterday you said even it is not so easy, and when you were studying, sometimes you thought that you understood the meaning, but then your teacher said, no, actually, it's not like that. So how can we avoid, making mistakes like that?
This for the understanding of Prajnaparamita, we have two kinds of texts. There's one is Madhyamika. Madhyamika philosophy. There are many different texts. And another is, there's one text like Prajnaparamita, a commentary on the Prajnaparamita, like one from this Maitreya Buddha, or Asanga. So, if you study that, call it Abhisamaya Alankara. That root text is not that long. It's
14, 20 folios, but it's very dense, because the commentaries can be big volumes, sometimes it could go few volumes. If you study that, then there, the whole of sutras are kind of explained, in a kind of, what can you say, reasonable way, step-by-step way. Because, like Pragyaparvata sutras that were taught by the Buddha can be sometimes very, very long. The longest could be like called, 100,000 stanzas. It's like 12 big volumes. So to read them takes a long time, and even if you read them, it's not totally easy to understand. But if you study that, what I must do, then you get, of course, it needs serious study. Then there are also, meditation instructions on how to do that, practice that also. But then there's this Madhyamika philosophy, which is like not the whole path, but mainly the view. So to explain that. So this is also. So these are, sometimes we call 5 books, 5 main texts. These are what they study, in the Shetas, like Pragyaparvata's kind of Abhisamaya Alakara, and there are others also. Then, like Oma, Madhyamika, Karika, and Madhyamika, entering into the Madhyamika like that. And then, Vinaya, and Abhidhamma Kosha, and what is the other one? The logic, Buddhist logic, and things like that, So sometimes there are 5 books, like for Gelugpas, there's 5 books. For Yemas, there are 13 books. For Kajas, if you add the Vajrayana things also, then there are more than that. So those things are what they study in the Siddha. But that's one way of study. But then, if you just study a little bit like Heart Sutra, you have a little bit understanding. And then, it's up to, it's not like, you don't have to become a scholar. There's nothing wrong being a scholar. It's not always necessary that you become a scholar. And sometimes, even if you become a scholar, it doesn't happen. Yeah. So these kind of things. So it's the practice is, I think it's kind of taught to mind training. Mind training is mind training, working on our understanding of the nature of things, nature of our mind, and also, developing positive intentions, bodhicitta, kindness, compassion, and things like that. So this, this got to practice that. So these are like in a practical way, you use like in like Lojong and Wando, what we call Lojong and Wando, are actually, these practices put together. But that doesn't mean that you should not study and go deeper a little bit, but these are the gists of practice in, if you practice. So I think it is something like that, yeah.
Donc la question était au sujet de la manière d'étudier ces sutras et d'autres, comment faire pour que cela ne reste pas superficiel, que cela reste avec nous, et comment est-ce qu'on peut aussi vérifier que notre compréhension est correcte. Parce que hier, vous avez dit vous-même que lorsque vous aviez étudié ces sujets, vous aviez acquis une certaine compréhension, mais à chaque fois, votre maître vous disait non, ce n'est pas comme ça, ce n'est pas tout à fait comme ça. Alors Rinpoche répond que pour comprendre les sutras de la Prajnaparamita, il y a deux approches possibles. Il y a aussi dans la première, qui est une approche d'étude, il y a deux types de textes. Il y a les textes sur la philosophie madhyamika et il y a les commentaires de la Prajnaparamita, comme par exemple les textes transmis par le Bouddha Maitreya à Asanga. Et si vous étudiez, certains textes de base ne sont pas trop longs, mais ils sont assez denses. Et dans ces textes, on trouve la philosophie de la Prajnaparamita expliquée progressivement, étape par étape. Parce que les sutras de la Prajnaparamita peuvent être courts, comme le sutra du cœur, mais aussi très longs. Il y a un sutra de 100 000 stances et qui fait 12 gros volumes. Donc, lire les sutras eux-mêmes peut prendre, c'est important, mais ça peut prendre beaucoup de temps et ce n'est pas toujours facile à comprendre. Il y a aussi des instructions de méditation. Et dans le Madhyamika, il y a, selon les écoles, différents livres de base. Il y en a 5, par exemple, qui sont étudiés dans les Shedras, 5 pour les Grimpa, avec, je n'ai pas retenu tous les noms, Nabi, Samaya, je ne sais pas, Madhyamika Karika, la Vedharma Kosha, un texte sur la logique bouddhiste, mais bon, je ne vais pas noter. Il y a 14 livres pour l'énigma, il y a un nombre encore différent pour les perdus. Mais ça, c'est la façon d'approcher la compréhension par l'étude. Et on devient à ce moment-là un érudit. Mais ce n'est pas absolument nécessaire de devenir un érudit. Et même si vous devenez un érudit, ce n'est pas pour cela que ça va vous aider réellement. Donc, il est aussi fort important de pratiquer par l'entraînement de l'esprit, de travailler sur notre compréhension de la nature de l'esprit et de la nature des choses, de développer toujours davantage nos intentions positives, notre bodhicitta, la bonté, la compassion, et de pratiquer le lojong ou le londron. Donc ça, c'est l'approche plus pratique des choses et qui va nous permettre de comprendre la Prajnaparamita.
I think it's like this. In one way, to understand and practice all Dharma is kind of a little bit vast and not easy, complicated. But in one way, it's very simple. It's not so difficult. It's, if you
about, all about working on our emotions. And usually we say the three things, what we call as the three trainings. Trainings on view, wisdom, training on meditation, and training on right kind of behavior or right conduct. These three things. That's all. So, right view is, in a way, a little bit more difficult to understand. But it can start with, like we always say, like for instance, the right view at the most basic level, what is called human, is to understand that, what I want, what is it that I really want, what is the purpose of my life. But many people, like in some cultures, like Western culture, because they have this very strong influence of, like, a creator. So therefore they think, the purpose of life is, what is the purpose of life that is given to me by my creator? From Buddhist point of view, that's not the way we think. The purpose of life is, what is the important thing? What is the most necessary thing that I want? What I really like, what I really want, what I really wish. What's the most important thing for me? That is the purpose. So if I look, then, I want myself to be, to be well, to be happy, to have no problems, no suffering, no pain. I want to be, free from all the negative things, and I want to be totally lasting peace and happiness. And then I wish that everybody are kind to me, everybody, are friendly with me, to me, everybody to be, respectful to me. I want that. And then it's not just me who wants that. It's she wants that, he wants that, everybody. There's nobody, I think, who doesn't want that. I want to be treated in a kind way, nice way. I don't want to be treated in a bad way, unkind way, unfriendly way, disrespectful way. So if that is my important wish, so then what should I do? If I want people to treat me nicely, I know that everybody wants that, so I should do that. I should try to treat everybody kindly, I should treat everybody friendly, I should treat everybody respectfully. And I should not treat people unkindly, unfriendly, disrespectfully. So when I know this very clearly, then I have the right view. And when I have that right view, then I will try to do that. I will try to act as much as possible to try to be kind, friendly, respectful to everybody, because I know that everybody wants, that everybody likes, and that
vicious. And in the negative way, nobody likes, nobody wants. So I should also do that. So if I can do that, that's my conduct. What is it? So then, if I cannot do it, or if to find out whether I'm doing this, and if I'm doing this to make myself more rejoiced, if I'm not doing it, I would like to change that and try to be more mindful next time and train that. Try to be mindful and try to train, focus on that, is meditation. Meditation has, is actually the real meditation, is to make familiarize something that I know is right, something that I understand is correct, something that I understand is the right way, useful way, best way. I try to make that my habitual way. That is my natural way. That is let my way of doing things, way of saying things, become integrated in my life in that way. If I can do that, that's good meditation. Familiarized. So, if I do that, I can be called a good Dharma practitioner. And absolutely this Buddha said, and everybody must say, there is absolutely no reason why you can be born into a negative life next time. You are sure to have, go well in our next lives also, and in these lives also. You will be, you will be more positive, you will be more. But, of course, you might even, if more and more people do that, you might be able to create a peaceful world around us also. Because if we act like that, if we think like that, if we react like that, then there can't be much conflict, there can't be wars, there can't be atrocities. So we can have very good life and very good next life, very good. But the idea is, why we can't do that? Why we can't do that? We are not doing it. Because we have so much negative emotions and habitual tendencies. We all have lots of, anger, hatred, jealousy, greed, arrogance, and also, a wrong view, not clearly seen. We have lots of misunderstanding and unclarity and ignorance. That's why we have lots of these negative emotions and negative reactions. So then we realize that actually, unless we do something about that, we cannot be totally free. We cannot, although we know that how to do things, what is a good way of acting, feeling, and reacting, but we don't do it because we are under the under the influence, too much, like addiction of these creations. So therefore, then we would see very clearly that we have to work on these creations. So if we see this very clearly, and then we say, I would like to work on these creations. And I would like to transform them. That is what we call, from this point of view, renunciation. That is renunciation. I would like to transform myself. I would like to, change my way of reacting. I want to free myself. And then, if I have that very clearly, then I have to work on. I need to be a little bit mindful when I see that my negative emotions are, coming, and I need to work on that. So usually, all these teachings of the Buddha says he taught 84,000 different ways. All these 84,000 are on how to work on, on these creations. It's only that, nothing else. But those we cannot learn one by one all these 84,000. But all these 84,000 different ways, it was kind of Buddha made it into, not Buddha, but his students, categorized into 3 ways. That is, in Tibetan we call it Pang Shu Shisu. Letting go, abandoning, transforming, and understanding. These 3 ways. Abandoning or letting go is very simple. Any kind of negative state of mind, thought, emotion, reaction, or habitual tendency that I feel, I know, I am aware is arising in me, then I should think, well, this is, if I act on that, if I react to that, if I do this, then it's not good for me, it's not good for the other one, to whom we are praying. It's not useful, it will bring problem for me and for others, not good. So therefore, I will be a little bit patient and wait that it goes. And this is with the understanding that any emotions come out, any, either good or bad, emotions or reactions or, feelings or thoughts, anything, everything changes, everything goes, comes and goes, comes and goes, and comes. And then if you understand this, and a very strong negative emotion comes also, I can say, okay, I don't have to react now. Of course, I feel I want to bloody his nose. But I say, okay, I will bloody his nose tomorrow. And then tomorrow morning, I don't want to do it. It's gone. That emotion, that strong urge has gone. So therefore, I will not do it. So therefore, let's
So, little bit aware we have to be, little bit, what can you say, little bit patient, little bit waiting, and let these emotions go by itself. You don't have to suppress it, you don't have to fight against it, you don't have to do anything, you just wait. You know? That's the first one. I'll tell the three things.
Donc,
Your
D'une
mind.
certaine- No, it's just I don't think so.
Yes.
Otherwise it will be dry and I won't do it. Okay. Yes. D'une certaine façon, d'une certaine manière, la pratique du dharma est quelque chose de très vaste et qui n'est pas facile. Mais ça, c'est d'une façon. D'une autre, c'est quelque chose de très simple et qui n'est pas si compliqué. Il s'agit essentiellement de travailler sur nos émotions. Et on parle dans le bouddhisme de 3 entraînements: la vue, qui correspond à la sagesse, la méditation et la conduite. La vue juste, c'est peut-être l'aspect le plus difficile, mais on peut commencer à un niveau de base. Comprendre ce que nous voulons réellement. Quel est le but de notre vie? Dans certaines cultures, comme la culture occidentale, il y a cette notion de créateur et beaucoup de gens se disent alors: qu'est-ce que mon créateur m'a donné comme objectif pour l'existence qu'il m'a donnée? Dans la perspective bouddhiste, c'est différent. Il s'agit de savoir ce qui est nécessaire, ce qui est important pour soi-même. Et si on y réfléchit, on se rend compte que ce qu'on a vraiment envie, c'est d'être heureux, c'est de n'avoir aucun problème, c'est d'être libéré de toute négativité, de toute souffrance, d'atteindre un bonheur durable et parfait. Et non seulement pour nous, mais pour tous les autres. On veut soi-même être traité avec... on veut que les autres nous traitent avec bonté, avec respect, avec amitié. Et à ce moment-là, on se rend compte que tout le monde aussi souhaite la même chose. Alors que doit-on faire? Eh bien, il faut commencer par traiter les autres comme on voudrait qu'ils nous traitent nous-mêmes. Leur montrer de la bonté, du respect. De ne pas, ça c'est au niveau positif, et aussi s'abstenir de les traiter mal, de les faire souffrir, de les traiter sans respect. Et ça, c'est la vue juste, la vue correcte. Ensuite, il faut s'efforcer d'agir à partir de cette vue, de vraiment mettre en pratique, d'agir positivement et d'éviter tout ce qui est négatif. Ça, c'est donc la conduite, le comportement. Et si on parvient à agir de manière positive ainsi, on peut se réjouir, mais il se peut aussi qu'on n'y parvienne pas. Et dans ce cas, il faut s'entraîner, il faut d'abord prendre conscience qu'on n'a pas bien agi, ensuite s'efforcer de faire mieux la prochaine fois et s'entraîner. Et ça, c'est le 3e aspect, c'est la méditation. La méditation n'est rien d'autre que de se familiariser avec ce que nous avons compris qui est correct. Si nous avons compris ce que nous devrions faire, la méditation, c'est se familiariser avec cela, c'est en faire notre habitude. Donc la méditation, c'est intégrer dans notre vie ce que nous avons compris qui est juste, qui est correct. Quand on a ces 3 aspects, à ce moment-là, on est appelé dans le bouddhisme un pratiquant. Et si l'on pratique cela, notre vie future ne peut qu'être meilleure. On ne peut pas renaître de manière négative si on applique cela. Et aussi, même si de plus en plus de gens pratiquent cela, eh bien, c'est le monde autour de nous que nous allons transformer en un monde plus paisible, car si on applique tout cela, comment peut-il y avoir encore des conflits et des guerres? Mais on se rend compte aussi qu'on n'y parvient souvent pas. Et ça, c'est parce que nous avons tous beaucoup d'émotions négatives, de tendances habituelles. Nous sommes sous l'emprise d'émotions comme la colère, comme la haine, comme la jalousie, comme l'avidité, l'arrogance. Toutes ces vues fausses. Nous sommes sous l'emprise aussi d'un manque de clarté, la confusion mentale, l'ignorance. Et quand on réalise cela, on se rend compte qu'il faut faire quelque chose pour nous libérer de toutes ces émotions négatives, de toute cette ignorance. Et parce que même si nous savons ce que nous devrions faire, nous n'y parvenons pas. Nous sommes trop sous l'influence des kleshas. Quand on voit cela clairement, on s'engage à travailler sur ces émotions négatives, sur ces kleshas, et à les transformer. Ce désir de transformation, c'est ce que dans le bouddhisme on appelle le renoncement. C'est cette volonté de nous changer nous-mêmes. Et pour y parvenir, on doit travailler sur soi-même en étant un petit peu vigilant, attentif, se rendre compte de l'émergence d'une émotion négative et ensuite travailler sur cette émotion négative. Les enseignements, les 84 000 enseignements du Bouddha ne sont rien d'autre que des enseignements pour nous apprendre à travailler sur ces kleshas. Et on peut catégoriser tous ces enseignements du Bouddha en trois aspects. Le premier, c'est le lâcher-prise. Le deuxième, c'est la transformation. Et la troisième façon, c'est la compréhension. Donc, la première façon, le lâcher-prise, c'est lorsque l'on se rend compte qu'une émotion négative est en train d'émerger en nous, de nous prendre sous sa coupe. Eh bien, au lieu de réagir immédiatement sous l'emprise de cette émotion, c'est d'être un peu patient, d'attendre, de ne pas réagir au quart de tour, de se rendre compte qu'il n'est pas nécessaire d'agir immédiatement. Parce qu'en fait, toutes les émotions, qu'elles soient bonnes ou mauvaises, elles changent continuellement, elles viennent, elles vont. Et donc, si on comprend cela, si on ne réagit pas tout de suite, eh bien, ce délai, c'est un petit peu comme si quand on est en colère, on est très, très en colère, on est vraiment sous l'emprise, on a envie d'envoyer un coup de poing à la personne en face de nous, de la faire saigner. Et on se dit, ok, on va lui envoyer ce coup de poing demain. Et le lendemain, quand on se réveille, eh bien, l'envie est passée, l'émotion a disparu. Donc, il faut cette vigilance, cette conscience de ce qui est en train de se passer dans notre esprit, et ensuite, ne pas réagir tout de suite, avoir cette patience de laisser l'émotion s'en aller et disparaître.
The second is what we call transforming. And that is like, try to, if I have a negative emotion, negative thought, I try to focus not on that, but focus on something positive, the opposite. If I feel kind of anger, then I could, I try to feel somebody who is full of compassion, or, I should try to understand that, feeling anger and hatred and all these kind of things is not useful. I should think or feel kindness, compassion, and, because how I feel, how I experience things is not about what is happening. It's more about where I am focusing my mind. If I can focus my mind on something positive, I become that. Like
sometimes they even do these kind of therapies that you have to think about something that's very nice, very wonderful, very positive, and then you kind of think about that and focus on that, and I feel myself much better. So in the same way, if I can feel, somebody who is really kind and compassionate and, full of positive energy, my mind becomes more that way. Sometimes, it's always Dalai Lama says, he said this a few times ago, on his birthday, lots of people sent him lots of good wishes, things like that. And he said that the best birthday present you can give me is that when you have some negative emotions, you think about my face. Focus on my face. That will be the best birthday present for me. We could do it this time. His 90th birthday is coming soon. Something like that, something of this kind. Something that you focus on, something positive, somebody positive. That's why we try to have visualization and feel like a refuge tree, Guru Yoga, all kind of Bodhisattvas visualization is because of that. We focus our mind on that. That's the second. Third one is to understand, look at our own mind, look at our own thoughts and emotions and say how it is happening. Every thought, every emotion, every reaction that's happening in me, we can see that it comes from our own mind. It doesn't come from anywhere else. It comes from our own consciousness and then disappears within our own mind. So it's like, like a wave on the ocean. The wave comes and the wave dissolves. The wave is not different from the ocean. The ocean is not disturbed by the wave. In the same way, thoughts, emotions, any feeling, it comes out of our mind and dissolves in our mind. And it is part of our own mind. It's nothing separate. Although we think, now I feel this bad thing, it's coming to me. But there's nothing coming to me. It's coming from ourselves and it's coming and going. If we know this nature of our mind, so all those practices and trainings, understandings, or introductions, like, from the Lojong to like Mahamudra and Dzogchen, it's all about that. And to realize, to understand how our mind is functioning and that we know how to self-liberate this. It's not necessary to fight any negative thing or any positive thing also. It comes and goes and comes and goes, and we can totally self-liberate them instead. They can dissolve by itself. There's nothing we can do. We need to do. We can just. So when we know that, then any of these negative emotions and reactions cannot influence us, cannot bind us, cannot harm us, cannot control us. So if we can do these three ways to work on it, then we can transform. So therefore, with this transformation, then we can act, we can feel, we can live in a positive way, wise way, kind way. We don't need to. We know how best to react. And therefore, we will naturally be kind and compassionate. And that's how we are. We will be peaceful and joyful. And we don't have to be afraid. We don't have to panic. We don't have to be anxious. We don't have to. We will feel peaceful, joyful, and secure. Yeah. So that's, if we do that, then that's the practice. Now this is something that's important. From Buddhist point of view, we only work on ourselves. Lots of people ask what to do if somebody else does something. Of course, if they do well, it's much better, but I cannot make people do. Yeah? We cannot make people do. And if we are upset, if we are angry, we want to control everybody, then it becomes like a government. That's where all these systems failed. Communism. We will all make everybody, equal, and then, but only 7 people will know how to control them, and then it becomes dictatorial. We don't want to become dictatorial. We can't become dictatorial. That wouldn't solve the problem. Of course, we can try to explain to everybody what is the best way and why it's the better way. And if some people understand, then themselves change it, it will be very good. But we cannot forcefully make them do it. Because if we try to do it forcefully, then it will not be done, and we will become dictatorial. So therefore, that's not the Buddhist way. So that's the whole practice. Okay? That's it.
La deuxième façon, c'est la transformation. Si nous avons une émotion négative, on se focalise à ce moment-là sur quelque chose de positif, sur le contraire, sur l'opposé de cette émotion négative. Par exemple, si on est emporté par la colère, qu'on s'en rend compte, on essaie de penser à quelqu'un qui est plein, à quelque chose, ou quelqu'un plein de compassion, de bonté, d'énergie positive. On essaie de comprendre que la colère ou la haine ne sont pas utiles. Et en fait, la manière dont on ressent les choses, dont on expérimente les choses, ce n'est pas ce qui se passe réellement, mais la manière dont notre esprit fonctionne. Et si l'on essaye de penser à quelque chose de plus agréable ou de merveilleux, on va se sentir mieux. Sa Sainteté, le Dalai Lama, a souvent dit que des gens lui envoient des souhaits positifs, notamment pour son anniversaire qui va arriver bientôt. Et il a dit souvent que le plus beau cadeau d'anniversaire qu'on puisse lui faire serait de savoir que les gens pensent à lui, qu'ils se focalisent sur son visage, par exemple, lorsqu'ils ont une émotion négative pour transformer cette émotion négative en émotion positive. Et c'est aussi la raison pour laquelle dans le Vajrayana, on visualise les arbres de refuge, on représente les gourous, les bouddhas, les bodhisattvas, c'est parce qu'ils sont cette manifestation de tout ce qui est positif. La troisième façon de se libérer, c'est la compréhension. C'est de regarder son esprit et chaque chose, chaque pensée, chaque émotion, chaque réaction que nous avons, on peut voir qu'elle se produit dans notre conscience, qu'elle apparaît et qu'ensuite elle disparaît, cette pensée ou cette émotion, elle apparaît et puis elle se dissout, un peu comme une vague dans l'océan. La vague n'est pas différente de l'océan, et là, l'océan n'est pas perturbé par le mouvement des vagues. Donc, toutes ces émotions font partie de nous-mêmes, font partie de notre esprit. Ce ne sont pas des choses séparées. On a parfois l'impression qu'elles viennent de l'extérieur, qu'elles nous arrivent, mais en fait, c'est la manifestation de la nature de notre propre esprit. Et tous les pratiques du Lojong au Mahamudra, toutes ces pratiques visent à travailler là-dessus, à nous auto-libérer des pensées et des sensations. Quand on y parvient, plus aucune émotion négative n'est capable de nous lier, de nous faire du tort, de nous contrôler. Donc, grâce à ces trois méthodes, on parvient à se transformer et une fois qu'on est transformé, on peut agir, on peut vivre d'une façon positive avec davantage de sagesse et de bonté. On devient naturellement bon, naturellement paisible et joyeux. On n'a plus à être anxieux, à avoir peur, à paniquer. On est paisible et rempli de joie et de compassion. Et c'est ça la pratique. Il faut aussi noter que d'un point de vue bouddhiste, on ne travaille que sur soi-même. Beaucoup de gens viennent voir Rinpoche et lui disent « Ah oui, mais telle ou telle personne fait tellement de mal, ces gens sont tellement négatifs, comment faire ?» Bien sûr, on peut être contrarié par tout cela, mais si on essaie de forcer notre compréhension sur les autres, cela devient de la dictature. Et à ce moment-là, on le voit par exemple avec le communisme, il y a une critique de la société, mais puis finalement on a une minorité qui impose sa vision à tous les autres. Et cela, ce n'est pas l'approche bouddhiste. Bien sûr, l'approche bouddhiste, c'est d'essayer d'expliquer aux autres que ce qu'ils font n'est pas correct, qu'il y a une meilleure façon d'agir. Et s'ils comprennent cela, s'ils sont réceptifs, peut-être qu'ils vont changer, et ce serait excellent. Mais on ne peut pas forcer les autres à changer, on ne peut pas leur imposer quoi que ce soit, ça c'est une forme de dictature. La seule chose, c'est travailler sur soi-même et essayer d'apporter, si on le peut, la compréhension aux autres, qui d'eux-mêmes, à ce moment-là, se transforment.
Ok, thank you.
Thank Sacho Rinpoche, Mache Panam Che Joshi, Shepa